Hey folks, so today we're going to talk about all the controversy swirling around the announcement that Newburyport Youth Services made on April 28th, 2022. They announced on their Instagram page that they're having an over the rainbow teen dance for LGBT teens, and they're having this on May 13th, and a drag queen named Ms. Wigfall will be the one hosting it, playing games with the kids, and also double dutying as a DJ. This was the first article on this topic on May 2nd, 2022. It was published, Newburyport Teen Dance and Jeopardy after outcry, and this was written by Dave Rogers. I will put a link down in the description box so you can go and read this for yourself. The article itself is short, slanted, and politically focused on Carrie McRae, who's a Senate candidate in Plymouth Barnstable. McRae called the Masonic Lodge, and the Masonic Lodge decided to back out of hosting this event, according to Newburyport Youth Services Director Andrea Egmont. The dance is still scheduled to happen, and now they need to find a new venue. This article really targets McRae, her background, and if she did this to gain political points, and insinuates that it was her phone call that changed everything. And I find that difficult to believe that she was the only one to call the Masonic Lodge. And secondly, does Dave Rogers really believe that it was her phone call and not the online adult material of the drag performer that actually influenced the Masonic Lodge's decision? The Masonic Lodge must have known the dance was for LGBT and there was a drag performer involved. It seems that Wigfall's adult imagery was the deal breaker and not the phone call blaming it on Carrie McRae. And Rogers completely leaves that information out of this article. He completely leaves out the information regarding Wigfall's adult imagery. I find it interesting that Dave Rogers didn't really do any more investigative reporting, although he does have potential to do it, because in 2018, he actually tweeted to Stormy Daniels to make sure that she was coming to the local strip club. But in this article, he doesn't mention anything about the adult content on Wigfall's Instagram. And considering this was the first story printed in the Daily News about this, and the material was already out there, you would think that he would have done some further investigating to find that out. So there are a couple important quotes in this article that I want to point out. If you can get past all of the focus on Carrie McRae, we have James Geisler, who is the executive director of the North Shore Alliance for GLBTQ Youth. And he said in a statement that NAGLY is proud to partner with Newburyport Youth Services to provide safe spaces. The recent ill-informed opposition to their planned dance event vividly confirms why such spaces are necessary and is further proof that much work still needs to be done. So if we go down further, it's talking about McRae again, and let's get to Mayor of Newburyport, Sean Reardon's statement that he made. In a statement, Reardon said that this event has been grossly mischaracterized by a handful of bad faith actors who are calling it things it is not, adding that it was not being funded by taxpayers. Councillor Cameron of Newburyport saying it's concerning that right-wing culture wars are coming to Newburyport. Phony controversy, he says, in an attempt to freak people out and marginalize the LGBT community. To say that phony controversy, it's not phony controversy when you go to someone's Instagram and they have a picture of themselves in a G-string bent over so you can basically see just about everything there. So that's phony? No, that's actually right in front of you. There's nothing phony about that. Anyone who goes for a job nowadays, any employer wants to see your social media, and because they want to make sure that who they're hiring represents their company. They don't want to hire somebody. If you're going to work for a large company, they don't want to see on your Instagram or Facebook or any of these places that you have videos or pictures with your ass out. It's not considered acceptable because you are a representation of that business that you're working for. So why should this be any different in this situation? You're hiring a contractor to come in and work with kids. Who did the vetting? Because this is the thing. These kids that go to this dance, they will be looking this wigfall person up on social media, and they will be running into the Instagram page and these other places. So this is why you're exposing the kids to this. So that is the real issue here. And I know all these leftist talking points always go to, oh, the conservatives have no tolerance. They're a bunch of bigots. They don't want to support the LGBT community. That is not the issue. The conservatives in Newburyport are fine with having a dance that supports LGBTQ community. They don't have an issue with that. Their issue is with who you are hiring for this event. When you go to look at this contractor that's being brought in and you're seeing these adult kind of photos, you're bringing this into a school. So that is their issue, that this is, and when Reardon is saying that taxpayers are not funding this, NYS is funded by taxpayer money. So if the taxpayers of Newburyport are not funding this, then who is? And getting back to the reporter who wrote this, Dave Rogers, why didn't you ask, if the taxpayers are not funding this, who is funding it? Again, I know it's a little too in depth for some reporting here, but that would typically be a follow-up question, that if the taxpayers are not funding it, who is funding it? So that was conveniently left out of the article as well. I want to play a clip from Miss Kitty Demure, who is a drag queen. And this video she made was from a couple years ago, and it was focusing on a lot of the drag queens doing the story hour in the libraries. But it still applies to this, because she's basically saying, why do you want to subject your kids to this type of event?
What in the hell has a drag queen ever done to make you have so much respect for them and admire them so much, other than put on makeup and jump on the floor and writhe around and do sexual things on stage? I have absolutely no idea why you would want that to influence your child. Would you want a stripper or a porn star to influence your child? It makes no sense at all. A drag queen performs in a nightclub for adults. There is a lot of filth that goes on, a lot of sexual stuff that goes on. And backstage, there's a lot of nudity, sex, and drugs. Okay? So I don't think that this is an avenue you would want your child to explore. They could explore dressing up at home, like we all did. Like all gay boys did. We all dressed at home and we had a great time. We had a great time with our girlfriends, putting on makeup, trying on clothes, things like that. But to actually get them involved in drag is extremely, extremely irresponsible on your part. And I understand you might want to look like you're with it, that you're cool, that you're woke, that you're not a Nazi, that you're not a homophobe, whatever it may be. But you can raise your child to be just a normal, regular, everyday child without including them in gay, sexual things. And honestly, you're not doing the gay community any favors. In fact, you're hurting us, okay? We have already had a reputation of being pedophiles and being perverts and deviants. We don't need you to bring your children around. So you keep your kids at home, or take them to Disneyland, or take them to Chuck E. Cheese. But if you need your child to be entertained by a big human in a costume or in makeup, take them to the circus or something. When they turn 18, then why don't you take them to the clubs on their 18th birthday? Because it's an adult thing, okay? So don't ruin your child's life, and don't ruin us, because that's what you're doing.